What's up everybody, and welcome to another Walkabout Minigolf video here on Cloak Reaper Games. Today, we're going over the holes in ones for Ice Lair Hard. I haven't been around for a while, so there are probably some good shots out there I don't know about yet, and that's why a shot you may use every time isn't here. I had to take a break for a little bit for some medical issues, but I'm back now. I'm going to try to catch up on the courses I missed and get those guides to you. With all that said, let's get into the video. Hole 1 is going to be one of the ones you can get the most consistent out of all the holes in this course. We got two ways of doing it. This one, the power level is about a 5 or so, and you're going to hit just left of this upside down triangle right here. It's going to bank a few times and go right into the cup. This is basically the same thing, but we're hitting it harder, and you need a little bit of luck for it to go in the cup. But even if you miss this one 3 or 4 inches to the left, it's still going to go into that triangle where the cup is and give you an easy toot. So this is a pretty safe one to go for. This one can be a little bit tough to get, but it's still pretty safe. So for this one, we're going to be hitting our power at about a 4.5. And just right at this triangle, maybe just the tiniest bit to the left of it. It'll go just a little bit over the grass, hit the wall, and pop over into the cup. This is another way of doing this one that I like a little bit better. We hit this one a little bit harder, about a 5.5, and we're going just about an inch away from the carpet right there, staying on the ice. It's going to slide around, bank a few times, and go into the cup. Got to be pretty pinpoint on your weight and your line for this one to go in every time. But we're going to hit it at about 4.5 power, right at the point of that black triangle right there. How it's kind of pointing to the left, that's where we want to hit it. And you want to have just enough power to reach the ice, and it should roll into the cup. I actually prefer this shot to the other one. There's a couple ways to look at this line. You can aim at that ice point that's sticking out on the left there, or if you look here, there's a dot right there, and I know it's so hard to see on this, but there's a smudge right next to that dot. And if you go over the smudge, that's the line that'll put you in the cup. Or like I said, you can aim at that piece of ice that's sticking out on the left there. There are a few ways to do this one, but none of them are like gonna consistently get you in the hole every time if you hit the line. There's a lot of luck involved, but we're gonna aim right at the beginning of this bit of gray. I'm not sure what you'd call that. But we're gonna aim right at the beginning of that and hit it really hard at about an 8 out of 10 and just hope it ends up in the cup. If it doesn't though, you should still be right next to the cup and not be an ice cube. So that's why we're going with this one. I have two very similar shots for this one. This one has multiple banks in it, so we're going to hit it a little bit harder at about a 5.5. If we look right over here on our left, there's a little triangle and two bigger triangles pointing at each other. If we aim at the point on the right triangle, or just really where they're right in between the two big ones, it'll bank over, bank a few more times, and then go into the hole. This is a pretty consistent shot and a safe one. This one's similar to the first one, but it's a single bank this time. So find our little triangle, come over to the two big ones, and this time we're going to aim at the big one on the right completely. It'll do a single bank. Want it about 4.5 on the power for this one, and you want to time it where the beam is coming back towards you. This one is super consistent at almost going in the hole every time. So if you look a little bit to our left, right here at this rectangle, we're going to go just about 4 inches to the right of that rectangle and hit it really hard, about an 8 out of 10. It'll go in and it won't go in, but you'll always be right next to the cup at least. This is basically the same shot, but it just brings your line and point of contact a little bit closer. And if you look at this little triangle right here, I'm going to go again 3 or 4 inches to the right, and this one's really about a 10 out of 10. You're just going to smack it as hard as you can, and it'll go over there and hopefully in the cup. So we have a straight shot and a bank shot. Neither are very easy to pull off. Got to get your weight just right. So for the straight shot, it's about a 4. We do have a dot to use, but it's kind of far away. It is a lot closer than the cup is, though. If you look about 5-6 feet in front of you, there's a dot right there, and if you run right over that dot, it'll go in the cup. Power's about a 4 or so. For the bank shot, you don't want to hit it much harder, just about a 4.5. If we look to our right, we'll see another one of those little triangles down there. We're going to go just barely past that triangle. But it's very much based on your power, so like if you hit before the triangle, you're going to need to hit it a tiny bit harder. If you hit after the triangle, a tiny bit softer. This is another one that'll consistently get you next to the hole, but it's going to be a lot of luck if it'll go in or not. I want to hit right before that first high peak there, at about an 8.5 or so, and hope it goes in the cup. Again, it's going to be luck based whether you actually end up in the cup or not, but you should always end up being a ball again and not an ice cube, so you can get it easy too. We're going to aim right at the dip before that big first peak and hit it at about a 9, so pretty hard, and hope for it to just go into the cup nice and easy. Now this shot doesn't go in the hole, but I'm including it anyway because it 100% can, and I probably got it to land right there 50 out of 60 times. Like just right next to the cup, and I just wouldn't get lucky enough for it to go in. We're just going to hit right in this corner on the right side at about a 10. You're going to hit it really, really hard. And I'm sure for some of you it's going to go in, just not for me, not this day. Getting this one to go in the cup every time can be tough for sure. And we don't have any dots to help us aim either. So you're gonna just try to hit it straight and focus on your timing. So for the timing, you're going to start your backswing as the first beam is passing in front of you going to the right. And that'll give you plenty of time to make it to the cup without the second beam catching you. You don't have to hit the ball as fast as I did either and risk going off the end of the table. You can actually see I had plenty of time right there to get past the second beam. You can play it safe and still get through no problem. This one can be finicky for sure, and it's very easy to fall off the side or the end of the sub. But we want to aim slightly left of the cup, because it's going to curve to the right if we're going slow enough to actually go into the hole. And it's about probably a 5 on the power. It's a tough one, but you can get it. This one's a lot easier than it looks. We're just going to go off to the left, off the first line on the first light colored stripe. Wow, I made that sound complicated. Power is about a 5.5 or 6, and it'll just drain down in the cup. There are a few other ways to get this one, different banks and such, but this one's easy enough. There are a lot of different ways to do this one. They mostly just differ in power. But we're going to go right in this flat area between these two peaks at about a 5.5 or so. And your timing is you want to hit it just as the beam is about to reach the end of the course. This is probably the one I'm going to use the most because though they all end up right next to the cup every time, this one seemed to go into the cup more often than not. We're going to aim right at the first peak and just a little bit lighter on the power. A couple of ways doing this one as well. I think I'll prefer the first way here, where we bank it across and it goes up the hill into the cup. So if we look straight across a little bit to our left, there are two mountain peaks right there. We want to go right onto this left one here at about a 6 out of 10 on the power. This one's really just as consistent at going in the cup on the first one. I just feel like the first one's a little bit more forgiving. We're going to aim right at the bottom of this little dip before that big peak there and hit this one a little bit harder at about a 7. Send it around and into the cup. This will probably be my preferred shot for this hole as well. We're going to go almost straight right over this dot here and come back down as an ice cube and land in the cup or right next to it on the heater. So it's a relatively safe shot as well. This one's a little more risky because if you miss the cup, you're probably going to roll off. But we're going to hit it at about a 5, and if you look over on our right, there are 3 lines here. And we're going to aim just a few inches to the left of this third line. So 1, 2, 3, and a little left of that one, at about a 5. I haven't found a hole-in-one shot here. This is the only hole I haven't gotten one on. But this is a really good shot for this hole, so I figured I'd throw it in anyway. So if we look on our left, there's a flat space between 2 points right there. We're going to hit that flat spot at about an 8 or so, maybe even a 9. You don't want to hit it too hard though, because you don't want to come back too far behind this wall on our right here. You want to have a shot across. And you can hit a little bit harder than I hit right here, but you don't want to hit too hard, because if you hit too hard, you'll bounce back and you won't have a line. But you can still hit it a little bit harder than I did, come off the next wall, and get probably 5 or 6 feet closer to the hole. This hole I like, and this shot. Again, it's luck if you're going to end up in the cup or not, but you're going to end up on the heater next to it most likely. We're going to go about 2 inches to the left of that point right there, and we want to do it right before the beam gets in front of us, because we want to turn into an ice cube on the second one. You don't have a choice between, like, you have to become an ice cube on this one. So if you have to, you want to get hit by the second one and hope you end up in the cup. We're hitting this one pretty hard, about an 8. Apparently I didn't take the time to show exactly where to aim, so here's a screenshot. We're aiming right at the corner of that pillar, hitting it super hard, and hoping that it ends up in the cup. There's going to be tons and tons of luck involved with this one, and a lot of different ways to do it. You can bake it like I did. You can hit it straight across into the wall, basically where I just hit it right there, and just hope it goes down in there. If anybody knows a super consistent way to actually get this one to go in the cup every time, let me know in the comments. You can get down there with this one each time, but getting it in the cup every time is tough. Anyway, I hope this helped you out. Maybe you can get that negative score really, really high now and just beat all your friends. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know, and I'll see you in the next one.